I just happened to reconnect with one of my old friends from high school, Brent, and we were talking about work-related things. I recently took an exam for my day job. I'm actually a project manager, and I studied for my PMP certification and took the exam and was humbled by it. And he reached out to me just explaining, his dynamic where he works, and our conversation led to a potential ice fishing trip to Idaho. So I talked with my wife to see if that's something that I could do, and Lake Cascade has been on my bucket list. I had the chance to go fish Devil's Lake, North Dakota back in 1997, and had a lot of fun out there, and that was my pre-Vexilar days, so I learned the importance of having a Vexilar and how much that increases your chances, and definitely punches up the fun factor when you're fishing. So, but anyway, my story leads to a trip from Phoenix, Arizona to Ogden, Utah, and hanging out with my friend from high school and reconnecting for a week on the ice. And we made the 6-hour drive from Ogden up to Cascade, Idaho, and I thought the mountains were fantastic here in Phoenix, and Utah and Idaho. It's just absolutely beautiful up there. So I was very blessed to be able to break away for a week and spend some time with an old friend, which is now a new friend. Again, I'm glad we could reconnect and talk about our lives now and into the future. So luckily, Allegiant Airlines flies from Phoenix Mesa to Utah, and the tickets are affordable enough. It's you couldn't even drive half the distance for the same price. So I just have to learn how to pack strategically to get all my equipment up there, and not have to spend a fortune on bags, check bags, and carry-ons. So, well, I put together a short commentary for our final day 5 up at Lake Cascade. My friend Brent and I were the only two fishing perch that day. The other guys in the group went and fished Lakers on another lake, and they did equally as well fishing. And Brent and I both caught 2 fish over 2 pounds on our 5th day. I broke my personal best every day that I was in Idaho, so I feel very fortunate. My largest fish was 211 and caught a 205. Was my next best fish, but a lot of fish in that 1.5 to 1.75 pounds. It was an amazing week. We caught some high quality fish, and really was a fun week. Saw a lot of fish come through on the Vexilar. Day 1 we actually had a storm go through that day, and day 5 we had a storm go through. So the low pressure had the fish moving. Marking fish, all throughout the water column. A lot of the rainbows were riding high, larger perch were riding high. So having a flasher and knowing where these fish were was vital. It was a critical tool to have, and I really relied on my Vexilar heavily. And as always, so thankful that I had my FL18 with me. So, but we used a lot of different rigs. Our best rigs were, reaction baits up high, and having our tungsten jigs down low. And if they weren't interested in the reaction baits, we'd entice them with the tungsten and finesse them into biting. So that seemed to be the 2-punch program that worked for us this week. One of the biggest challenges at Cascade Lake is the slush, and that's something that I wanted to definitely mention. Most of the guys out there have pretty long track snowmobiles with some aggressive paddles on them, And there were a few guys with wheelers out there, but the few wheelers we saw, they were having a lot of trouble getting stuck and having to walk them out of slushy holes. So that's definitely something to keep in mind when you head out there, especially if you get later in the winter here, where start getting longer days, warmer days. Slush is definitely going to be an issue for you when you go out there. So you know, there's a lot of guys asking questions online about that, and you know, how they get off if they get stuck, things like that. But Tackle Tom's out there is the local tackle shop in Cascade. If you're looking for a fishing guide there, definitely reach out to Tackle Tom's. They'll probably be able to set you up. I know they rent snowmobiles and snow dogs, which are a little track machine that pulls you behind on sleds. It's the first time I actually saw those machines out there when we were up at Cascade. So there's a lot of resources, a lot of Airbnb lodging too in the area. So highly recommend it. You know, beautiful country up there, and was certainly a week to remember. I know we're hopefully going to be up there next year, and hoping it will become a yearly trip if we can make it happen. Hey guys, thank you for stopping by to check out my video. If you like what you see, please smash the like button, and you know, stay tuned and subscribe to my channel. I'm planning on having some new content here going into the end of winter, into our pre-spawn here in Arizona. So I'll be going through different gear reviews and tactics, and getting some fishing footage, and going through you know, some of the lakes here you know, shortly. So if you like what you see, please subscribe, and I appreciate your time and checking out my channel. Tight lines, good fishing, and see you soon. Day 5 and our final day out here on Lake Cascade. Today's been what I would call a perfect day, with the snow coming down, low pressure, almost no wind whatsoever, pretty comfortable. So I broke my personal best perch twofold today. I caught a 205 and a 211. Fantastic day. Just my buddy Brent and I came out here. The other guys in our group went to chase Lakers on another lake, and they ended up with a 40-inch 20-pounder. So but it's been a good day out here. Probably the best I've felt all week since I got here. So good day all the way around. Yeah, the best baits this week were reaction type baits, you know, swimming lures, darter lures, things like that. You know, my top performer was a tungsten jig, fish near the bottom, and then, once you mark fish coming through a little higher, crank up to them. Usually had 2 rods in hand, fishing the reaction bait up high, tungsten down low, just keeping your eye on the flasher, waiting for him to come through. So. Yeah, I wanted to give a shout out to some guys from North Dakota that stopped by to visit, and one of the guys was nice enough to come over and crank up my other rods so I could fight this rainbow trout. It was a nice fish. It was a fun fight.
Get him out of the hole if you want me to.
But a lot of the fish were coming through in groups. If you were marking smaller fish, we would tend to move, and the larger alpha fish were cruising Lone Rangers out there. So, but yeah, it didn't seem to matter what you threw down. It was being at the right place at the right time. So. Yeah, we had a great week. We caught fish every day. We were up in the Cascade. A few of the days we had to downsize and finesse the fish, but about every day we had a feeding period where the fish would, hit reaction baits, and then they would get a little tedious and turn off a bit. We'd have to downsize the tungsten or finesse them a little bit, but we were blessed with good fishing, good weather, and the slush that Cascade is notorious for wasn't bad. It was pretty much in the 20s during the day and single digits at night. So it tightened up nice for us. And towards the end of the day and the afternoon, the slush was getting pretty bad, but it would stiffen up overnight for us. Yeah, there were literally times where you would drop your bait and you would actually see fish shoot out from the side, or they'd rocket up off the bottom and just hammer the bait. And that's where the Vexilar, helped in at least getting you ready for that fish so you could be on them. largest fish that I marked and I caught were up in the water column. You know, a lot of them were at least 6 feet off the bottom. A lot of the bigger perch were actually cruising about halfway up the water column and, you know, 10 feet down. And our median depth was about 20 to 25 feet of water. And fishing mainly flats up above river bottoms, looking for saddles, contours, humps, things like that. Just, you know, in different contours out there. Yeah, not really the norm for perch where you look for them on the bottom, but a lot of suspended fish this week. It was fun, you know, reading the Vexilar and seeing the fish come in and, you know, reeling up to them, and they'd hammer it without a hesitation. So we're all packed up, ready to head back to Utah from Cascade, Idaho. It's about a 6-hour drive. Got some snow falling, so getting a fairly early start so we can travel safely, take our time. I fly out tonight back to Phoenix about 10 p.m., get back home about quarter to midnight. So I'm truly going to miss this winter weather, snow falling. 13 degrees right now, and it feels good. I actually have my gloves off, no problem. So my Wisconsin blood is still flowing through my veins. So truly God's country, and I truly love it here. Hoping to bring my my younger son, which is getting into fishing, and hopefully I can bring him out here and get him hooked on these large perch too. Truly feel blessed.